Alright, we got your vintage Edelbrock Victor small block Chevy intake manifold here. This is the original. It's the first Victor. I believe it came about 79, 80 when they were released. It's Edelbrock Victor. Not a junior, not a super Victor. This predates everything. You don't see these very often. Pretty rare intake. This one was on a dirt late model. That's why it's notched out for the water lines that go to the heads. It's a little cooling trick. The oval track guys like to run water to the heads there to equalize the temperature in the head. So you cut a notch out there to clear the fitting. Run your holes in a manny. This is old school. It looks like a Victor Jr. just glancing at it. But there are differences. I got a few Victor Juniors laying around also. The main difference I can see is in the plenum area. It's got bigger runners, bigger plenum, it's deeper. Got a straighter shot at the runners there. Port dividers look a little thinner. It's an old son of a bitch. The old freeze plug there where you can put a PCV setup in the intake. The bolt hole's been opened up a little bit for use on milled heads. Runners are about a 1206. They're dimpled. Help hold the gasket in place. They've been opened up a little bit. Need a good cleaning. Them dimples, that's another old school trick to help hold the gasket in place, keep from sucking it in. This thing's been around. It's a 2970 part number. Victor Jr.'s a 2975. That's basically what they look like. You got these lines here, more contoured. Got this raised lip. These runners are fatter. You got the fish mouth, air gap on the front. It goes all the way across. Later ones, they sliced them off there and made it follow the contour of the block. And then they got this big boss here to drill and tap for a water outlet if needed. Got your bolt hole for your old style alternator bracket. You don't see many of these. It's straight out of the vault here. It's old. It's been slightly milled. So we work with milled heads and deck blocks and shit. Might be a lifesaver. Ain't hogged out or nothing. Looks like it's just gasket matched. These old intakes, shit's come a long way since back then, but they still have their place. This old intake can still make a lot of power. Seen that video or series of videos a wine gardener did testing all them intakes on that small block. That old ass early 80s Vic Jr. made the most power out of all the 4150s on that particular engine. On another engine, might be a bit different story, but that particular engine liked that intake. But it was making more power than all the latest offerings. I think he had like a 195cc enforcer heads on a 406. And a pretty good size solid roller. Made about 570 something horse with an old early 80s Victor Jr. They got their place. Cool vintage, old school shit. It'll get used again. This totally usable part. It'll make a shitload of power. I think they were advertised at 4,500 to 8,500 RPM range. It's pretty high. It basically looks like your Victor Jr. or Victor E. I believe it's pretty much what turned into the Victor E. And they had a Victor 4+4 that was also similar. Victor E, popular with the super stockers. Good hood clearance. They got a big old fat plenum on them. Big runners. There it is, the original Victor. Small block Chevy.